Okay, this is my chocolate cake recipe I use all the time. It's a really good one, and it was my grandmother's. So these are the ingredients you'll need, and as we go along I'll tell you the measurements. You need baking cocoa powder, not the stuff you drink, but the stuff you use to bake with, vanilla, baking powder, baking soda, some form of cooking spray, all the measurements, teaspoons, quarter teaspoons, measuring cups, heavy cream, milk, butter. AP flour is all-purpose flour, don't use any other kind, eggs, mixing bowls, and over here we have just paper cutouts, parchment paper. What you do is you flip your 8-inch round over on top of the parchment paper and trace around and then cut out the circles. Otherwise your cake is going to stick, and we'll get to that later. Okay, first thing we're going to do is put in 2 cups of sugar, and I'm using a 1/3 measuring cup, so I'm going to have to put in 3 of these, but only 2 cups. So there's 1/3, 2/3, and there's 1 cup. That's my sugar dish. Okay, 1, 2, and 3. As you can see, when I do it, the cups aren't completely level, and I always throw in a little bit extra, just because. That's how my grandmother did it. Preheat your oven to 350, and then next we'll do the flour. Okay, the measurement for AP flour is 1 3/4. So I have my 3/4 cup measuring cup, as you can see, and I don't level them off completely, and it always turns out. You can do it however you like. It says my grandmother always did it just by eyeballing. So there's 2, and there's 3. So that's 3/4. Then my half measuring cup, which I keep in my flour. 1. As you can see, it's not perfect level. 2. And that's it. That's for that. And next, okay, we're at the cocoa powder. You can use any off-brand you want. It doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be Hershey's or something fancy. I got this at Aldi's. So 3/4 of a cup cocoa powder. No, I don't measure it precise, because who says too much chocolate? No such thing, right? Okay, that was about 1/4. I usually just dump it, but for demonstration I'm using the measuring cup. So okay, that's about 3/4, probably more. Now the next one is baking powder, and you'll need 1 1/2 teaspoons of baking powder. This is the kind I get, or whatever's on sale. To measure the baking powder, you do need pretty precise measurements. 1 teaspoon. And now I'm going to get my 1/4 teaspoon measuring, because it's just simpler. As you can see, it's smaller. And you'll need 2 of those. So it's 1 1/2 teaspoons of baking powder and 1 1/2 teaspoons of baking soda. Okay, here's the baking soda, and we'll do the same. You measure it this way. Just get a big scoop. You can see it's over full. All you do is scrape it across the top, and it levels it out. So that's 1. And now we need a half. This is a 1/4 measuring teaspoon, so we use 2 of these. Okay, now we need 1 teaspoon of salt, and it actually brings out the chocolate flavor. It enhances it, so here we go. Okay, teaspoon of salt. Okay, now I know most recipes call for you to use a flour sifter or something similar. You don't have to use one. I'll show you a really easy way to make the flour aerated and nice and smooth. So now, since I'm doing this with a recording, you can use a whisk. And I'll show you. All you do is go pretty fast. Don't worry about making a mess, it always does. But the quicker way is to use a mixer. And since the mixer is going to make a whole lot of noise, I'm going to turn this off while I mix it. Just put your mixer on low to medium speed and mix the hell out of it. And when it's all one uniform color, like a light brown, it'll be done. And you set it aside and we'll go on to the next step. Okay, if you can see, that's what it should look like. It's nice and aerated and smooth and all one color. Okay, now we're ready for the next step. 2 eggs. Just crack them in there. Make sure there's no shells. You can crack in a bowl beforehand, but I've been doing this so long I don't need it. Alright, and next is the really important step. We do 1 cup, which is part cream, part milk. So, heavy cream and 2% milk